Single asks, I don't have joint sponsorship. Can I show them cash in the bank account, sir? Well, this is a complicated question to answer here, but I'll try to shorten it. So when you're doing a family-based case, your sponsor needs to show that they make enough money. Sometimes they don't, so it's best to have a joint sponsor, someone else that makes enough money to do it. But if you can't get that, sometimes you can show your assets, and particularly money you have in the account, to show that you have enough money to support the person you're sponsoring. But this requirement, first of all, it takes a lot of paperwork to show it. So this is called using assets. Now you can use property, for example, but you may need a lot of paperwork to show your property is how much it's worth and all this kind of stuff and appraisal. So it's kind of hard and it's not always recommended. You could use banking money in your account, but you have to show that this money, on what amount of money was on average in your bank account over the last 12 months. So you get 12 months of bank statements, you average out what it would be every month, and that amount has to be more than 5 times or maybe 3 times if you're doing a U.S. citizen spouse case, the poverty guidelines set on Form I-864P. So as you already see, we're going to multiply things off this form and this and that. I have breakdowns. I have tons of videos on this, both on the JQK Law YouTube channel and on JQK Clips YouTube channel. So you can check it out there where I explain it all. But I don't like using assets. In particular, if your case is going through the embassy system. Because what I found is U.S. embassies don't want to deal with it. And a lot of times, you may have $1 million and they just don't care. They'll say, no, we want someone who's making money, has a job in the United States, that's going to sponsor you. Regulations say it's fine. The statute says it's fine. But, you know, they could say all they want, just what we were talking about earlier about bills and what the law is and all that stuff with these, with the Congress passing rules about immigration. It doesn't really matter if the person who's reviewing it doesn't care. And so what I found is they're really strict at the embassies about assets and they're not down with it. And so I prefer not to use that unless you really have to. USCIS is open to it, but a lot of officers are not familiar with it. So we regularly get RFEs, requests for evidence, when someone uses assets. And so that delays the case. There's a chance that we respond, and we respond correctly, but the officer doesn't understand it and denies the case. So unless we really have to, I avoid using assets at all costs, but I have had that success. Every year I do 1 case with assets. I mean, I'm not the biggest volume firm, I'm doing 1 million cases, but it does happen, it's doable, but I try to avoid as much as possible. But if you need to get your money right, have it consistently in the account, above the required amounts, be able to explain it with documentation properly to the immigration system, whether you're working with USCIS or the consular department, NBC, embassies, all that, and then give it a shot and hope for the best. I hope you enjoyed this educational video. Also, you'll find our social media site has a lot more videos, images, and information about the U.S. immigration process. Please check those out on the various social media websites.